You know, I love the Nike brand, and I love strong brands right now in general, but I don't like things that put a lot of risk and uncertainty in a product when you don't know how to book that risk. And so you see what the market's doing. Long term, this may be the best thing Nike's ever done. I am unconvinced that that necessarily is going to be true. So when I look at it, I say short term, it may be the best thing they've ever done for Champion and Lululemon and Adidas and other people that compete with them, because they're a very broad business. They have a very wide spectrum of who wears the product. And yes, you may make some people happy, but you make other people unhappy, and that kind of controversy can really cost you on the sales line. It's not like they're this very small, focused niche product.
Simeon, what do you think about the risk-reward of this strategy from Nike? Are they taking much more of the former for potentially a little bit of the latter?
Yeah, listen, I think we cannot overlook the fact that there's two big news stories today. One was Amazon hitting $1 trillion, and the other was this. So the people that appreciate Serena are still going to buy because of Serena, but now we have a whole conversation. And Jan and I have spoken about things along these lines in the past. For today, they are both a product company and a marketing company. And how many other marketing agencies have this many impressions on a day where Amazon hits $1 trillion? So as we see it, I was just going to say the long-term risk, I would say, remains to be seen, but it's not the first time we've seen Nike take a risk.
Are you trying to make the point that they've gotten so much out of the brand exposure by the fact that we're all talking about it all over the airways?
I think yes. I think one of their biggest competitive advantages has been their marketing budget, right? And the reality of how many places they can touch, how many articles they can be in. And it's interesting to juxtapose it to Amazon. We've spoken in the past about, I see a lot of parallels between Nike and Amazon. And here's another. I mean, they put something out and we're doing their work for them. And again, at the end of the day, Nike has not been one to shy away from risk in general. And here's another instance, and whether that long-term impact, and I guarantee you there'll be another controversy we're talking about a year from now, but for right now, we're talking about them.
Jan, the statistics Sarah brought up about how young the buyer base, the user base for Nike was, surprised me. Clearly, you know, sports products tend to be more skewed towards younger people than older people, but Nike's been around for a long time. This is the 30-year anniversary of the Just Do It campaign. Are there going to be a still large amount of older buyers of Nike that potentially are going to be turned off by this?
I bought my first pair in 1975. They were called the Waffle Trainer. There's a lot of people of all ages that wear Nike product and run in Nike shoes. So if you do a great job with that millennial customer and it really builds that business, you'll go, gee, this was great. If it's just okay for that customer and it turns off some other part of the customer base, that won't be so good. That's yet to be determined. I think I agree with everything Simeon just said. I keep looking at this, go to myself and say, couldn't they have spent this money someplace else better and had less controversy and less backlash? Well, maybe they're looking for that. Maybe they do think any news is good news. But I think this was really a risky move, and I'm surprised that they made it, given the fact that they brought the brand back. It's done so well in the stock market. We've all been so positive on it, and now we have this new risk to worry about.
Final word to you, Simeon. Any way that everybody's talking about the risks and the boycotts, but that eventually this will actually help Nike maintain its cool factor, and the fact that it is speaking to a younger generation and it's being real and it's not afraid to wade into the culture wars will actually help the stock and the business?
Yeah, so is there any way? Of course, right? And the reality is they've done very well by hitting the counterculture and by going against the grain. So looking forward, I think that the reality is we might see, listen, it remains to be seen is probably the right answer. But the notion that this is a blanket negative, I think, is also probably the wrong one. So as we look forward, I mean, we're going to, like I said, we'll be back on a year from now talking about a different controversy that Nike decides to take. And I think that ultimately is what keeps them ahead of the game and what keeps them relevant.